As a rough estimate, I'm going to play about 50 Famicom adventure games. How many of those were released on the Nintendo Entertainment System? 4. And in 3 of those cases, they were originally American games that got a Famicom release. So that makes Salad no Kuni no Tomato Hime pretty special. It's the one proper example of this popular genre that people outside of Japan got to experience. And if you were going to pick a game to try that experiment with, this is a pretty good choice. It's not too difficult, doesn't have any weird themes, and there's no real gotcha puzzles. Okay, if I had my choice, I'd rather have Metal Slate or Glory, but that wasn't happening for a variety of reasons. Salad no Kuni no Tomato Hime started as a computer game. It was one of those style of adventure games that had a text parser, but also displayed graphics on the screen. It was completely reworked when it came to the Famicom. The story in both versions is that the Salad Kingdom was ruled by King Onion. He was overthrown by his advisor, Minister Pumpkin, and Princess Tomato was leading the resistance to recover the throne. The princess has been kidnapped, though, and you as a cucumber knight are out to rescue her. The interface in the Famicom version is the now standard select a verb, then select an object to do it to. For some reason it separates look and examine. Hit and fight are also 2 different commands. And there's also the unusual choice of flatter. Early on in the adventure you'll meet a friendly persimmon called Kakipachi. He'll become your companion through the entire quest, occasionally losing all of your red herring items as you pass between chapters. This is one of those adventure games where really you just have to try everything. You can't put the game into an unwinnable state or get a game over, so there's no harm in trying. And a lot of the gatekeeping in the game just amount to things being different on a screen once you've gone and done something else. There are a few puzzles to solve, but it's not hard to push your way through with just trial and error. A few chapters into the game, you'll encounter the worst thing about it: the combat system. It's what I'd call the only real misstep. In fights against enemies, you have to win a game of rock, paper, scissors against them, and then also predict what direction they're going to look in. You select rock, paper, or scissors by pressing a direction on the control pad, and then if you win that, you press what direction they're going to look. Get both right and they lose a hit point. A lot of the enemies have a pretty simple pattern that you can learn, but not all of them, and it becomes kind of frustrating. It's not like you can save right before the combat. You can only get passwords in between chapters, so generally speaking, the first time that you encounter an enemy, you're going to have to try to brute force your way through it. There's also first-person mazes in the game. These are pretty slow and clunky to navigate through, though none of them are especially large if you're mapping them. I've got the NES version of Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom, so while I was playing Salad no Kuni no Tomato Hime, I was keeping an eye out for differences. The big one is that there's a lot of smoking in the game. A few of the puzzles are just a little bit different, probably tweaked to be a bit less confusing. But overall, the NES version's a pretty good localization. When it comes to adventure games, there often isn't much for me to say. The mechanics of playing it are so simple that there isn't a lot to get into. Salad no Kuni no Tomato Hime has a pretty charming aesthetic to it, and it's one of the most approachable of the Famicom adventure games. In Japan, it's regarded as one of the best Famicom adventure games. I can't really argue with that.